Hi everybody, got a fantastic recipe to share with you this morning, and this is my Italian style lamb shank. And you see it's got some gorgeous fresh ingredients, including some lovely herbs out of the courtyard kitchen. This is a really great recipe to actually prepare in advance and stick in the oven and leave for a few hours, and it tastes delicious later on, either that day, or you can freeze it as well or refrigerate it, entirely up to you. So I've got 4 gorgeous lamb shanks here, and then I've got 2 different types of olives. I've got a little green one stuffed with some chilli, and you can buy those from the deli, and then I've actually got here some pitted black Kalamata olives as well, and I've got twice as many of those. And then here I've got an authentic tin of Italian tomatoes, and very often people say it doesn't matter what tomatoes you use. I actually really love to use authentic ingredients for something that I'm going to call Italian style lamb shank. So this is a really good type of tomato to use. I've got a little glass of port, too early in the morning for me to be drinking, it has to be said. You can use Madeira, you can use a sweet sherry if you want to. You can even use a medium red wine. We'll pop that there. And then out of the courtyard kitchen, I've got some lovely herbs. I've got some fresh golden marjoram here, and I've got some rosemary. I've had that plant for a wee while, so I've got a nice woody stem on that as well, really strong plant out there. And then I've got some fresh oregano as well. Then a fresh lemon, and I've got 3 garlic cloves, and then I've got the red onion. So what I'm going to start off with, first of all, if I just push those to the side, is actually browning these lovely lamb shanks. So what I'm going to do is I've got a griddle pan here. So I'm literally not going to do anything to them yet. I'm going to pop them into the griddle pan like so. There we go. And all 4 fit in there beautifully. So I've got some olive oil and some sunflower oil in here that I've mixed together so it has a higher burning temperature, and I'm literally just going to drizzle just a little bit over the lamb shanks like so. I'm not going to do anything else at all at this point. So now you need to brown those off, and you can do them on the top, you can fry them off, or you can actually do that inside the oven as well. So I'm going to pop mine inside a hot oven. That's around about 230, 240 degrees. So shut that up, and let's now have a little look at what sauce we're going to use for the lamb. So the griddle pan is actually the lid of my large roaster, and I can fit 4 lamb shanks in there really, really easily. So what we're going to start off with first of all is heating that pan up. So I'm just going to go over to here. I'm going to actually pop it onto a moderate heat. That's around about 265 on there. So pop it on there, and again you can do this in the oven. I like to do it on the top to show you what's happening. So I've got another board here, and let's start off by peeling our red onion. So take the outer skin off. There we go. Super. I love red onion. Adds like a natural sweetness to this particular dish, and it's not as harsh as a white onion. So I'm just now going to cut down. There we go. I don't want the bits of onion to be too chunky, so I'm just cutting down. And if you cut down again, swivel that round. And then if you cut in half, that one in a minute, and then just cut through, and you end up with some really nice chopped onion. If your knife skills are like mine, it's a really easy way of cutting up onion without actually crying. Those over there, and then we've got this other half, just a little bit of skin, we don't want that. And I'm just going to now chop that one up. Fabulous. Just turn that over. Okay. So some lovely red onion there. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop some of the same oil that we used for the lamb shank. So put some of that into the pan. About 2 tablespoons, and then I'm going to add now my chopped onion. So there we go. Fabulous. Give a little mix round, and I can already hear that sizzle. So the next thing I want to add to it, once the onion started to soften, are my garlic cloves. So what I'm going to do is cut them in half, and I'm just going to really finely chop those up. And what you don't want to do in this dish is actually burn the garlic, so don't cut it up too finely because I'm going to add it to the onion, so I don't want it to start to burn, so it gives it a really nasty bitter taste. So chop that one up. Fabulous. Right, give the onion a little stir around. And just give it a couple of minutes just to brown up, then you'll be ready to add your garlic. So my herbs, if we just move the garlic to the side just a minute, what I want to do with those is actually add them to the sauce as well. So as I say, I've got this lovely rosemary, and an easy way to get the leaves off that is just to shred it. And then I'm just going to pull the tip off like that and keep that one whole. So I'm not going to chop the rosemary, I'm going to leave it as it is. And then the oregano, I'm just going to pick off the leaves. We don't want the little stemmy bit. Take that off. I love the smell of onions, they smell so great. Onions and bacon, they're my favourite smells in the kitchen, I have to say. Along with freshly baked bread and coffee. Yeah, coffee sitting on the top of the Aga. Wonderful. Right. Oh, these smell amazing. So lucky, aren't I, to be able to pick these straight out of my courtyard kitchen garden. Oh, just the smell's amazing. You just know it's going to taste fantastic when you use fresh herbs like this. And then my marjoram, I'm going to chop that up. So just like so. Because the stems on this are really delicate, so I don't mind adding those to the dish. They're not going to be horrible and chewy, or if it gets caught in your teeth and you eat it, not an attractive look. Okay, so back over to here. Lovely mix round, and that red onion is really softening really, really quickly. I'm going to take that off, and I'm just going to show you that just a moment. So let me show you. Look at that. Oh, lovely. Now I don't want to brown it, so we'll pop it back on there. And now we're going to add the garlic to it. So just add that garlic into there. I'm going to give that just a little mix around. Fabulous. Okay, now we've done that, what I want to do now is actually add my glass of port. I want that to reduce down a little bit, so we'll pop it straight in. You can hear it as it goes in. And we'll mix that around. And remember, I'm only using a moderate heat, not a really high heat. I just want that to reduce down and go a little bit syrupy. And I'll show you what I mean in just 1 minute. So I'm just mixing that around with the garlic. And what happens is you're actually burning the alcohol off, so you don't get that horrible bitter taste of alcohol, but you get the full flavour of the port in there. Adds a nice richness to the dish. Let's grab a towel. Lovely, nice and syrupy. So back onto the top of the cooker. And we'll now add our herbs. So we're going to put the rosemary in there, and the oregano, and the golden marjoram. And to add to that, I'm going to put some lemon zest in. Smells so fresh, so good. I'll give that a mix round too. Now at this stage, I'm just going to add a pinch of sea salt. There we go. And now the olives. And the reason why I'm only adding a little bit of salt is because the olives are quite naturally salty. So I'm going to pop those into there now. Start with the black ones, and then we'll put those green ones that stuck with chilli in. Really good base for this gorgeous tomato sauce I'm going to cooking today. Right, and then the all-important ingredient, the Italian tomatoes. Just undo that. I love to keep the cans for this, and what I like to do is wash them out, and they're really lovely with herbs in, the little herb pots, so don't throw them away. I think they look quite cute. So let's put the tomatoes in, and I'll give that a nice little stir around. That's a nice thick sauce. Smells, I've got to say, absolutely amazing. So we'll leave that just to cook just for a couple of minutes. Now whilst the sauce is cooking, take your lamb out. And all you need to do is just to turn those over. So, tongs out. They're big chunks of meat, aren't they? We'll give them a little turn. And we're only going to lightly brown these. We're going to slow cook them. Oh, they smell amazing. Now I've got some more rosemary here, and just to finish them off, I'm just going to pop some sprigs of rosemary that will infuse as they finish off browning in the oven. And I'm not going to throw away this stick. It's great for popping on a couple of sausages or potatoes and using them as skewers to use on a griddle. So there you go. Waste not, want not, definitely. Right, so let's return these now back to the oven just for a couple of minutes. And let me take my sauce off. Smells divine. Okay, little mix round. Fabulous. Now I want it to be nice and thick, because when I add the lamb to it, it's going to release a lot of its own juices inside the sauce, and you don't end up with a runny sauce. So let's pop the lid down on that just for a moment. So the lamb shanks have been in the oven now for another 3 to 4 minutes. I'm just going to take them out. And remember, this is a hot oven, so we're browning them off. You can also do it on the top as well if you want to, and fry them. Oh, I can smell the rosemary. Fabulous. Okay, shut that one up. Right, now this is a really clever dish, because actually the griddle pan is the lid to my roaster. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to lift those lamb shanks up, and I'm just going to nestle them amongst that lovely olive tomato Italian style sauce. And honestly, the smells are wonderful. There we go. Right, we'll put the rosemary over the top as well. Now, there's a couple of ways of actually cooking this. I'm going to be cooking it in what I call the simmering oven on my cooker. So that's like a slow cooker. I was cooking at around about 100 to 110. So if you've got a slow cooker, you can cook it in a slow cooker, or you can set your oven to a low oven temperature of around about 100. The longer you cook it for, the better. Because I'm using an Arga cooker, the meat stays nice and succulent, because I'm using a radiant heat, so things don't tend to dry out. So just check it if you're using a conventional cooker, and just add a bit of water if you need to. Put the lid on then now. There you go. Now I can carry on cooking that now in the slow oven or the simmering oven, or I can leave it to marinate for a couple of days and then cook it the day that I want to. And long and slow, it's nice to have around about 7 to 8 hours, just so it falls off the bone. Or you can actually freeze it as well. It's entirely up to you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop it into my lower oven down here, and it's going to cook until it's beautiful and succulent. We'll do a little clip of this being dished up and served to some friends actually at the weekend. So stay posted. Thanks for watching my recipe. There's lots more recipes to come up to. Take care. Thank you. In we go.